So now we have our table view cell. We want to start to populate this with data. In this video, we'll take a look at how we can work with the UI Tableview data source methods to achieve this. We'll also look at how we can access the data within our data source. And we'll look at how we can load an image from a file path. We currently have all of our UI elements laid out in our cell. This prototype cell will help to populate our table view with the data that we provide to it. But as yet, we have to pull the data into our cells. In order to do this, we're going to make use of the delegate protocol method, cell4item@indexPath. Let's take a look at this very quickly. As you can see in here at the moment, I have a cell that has been created by dequeuing a reusable cell with an identifier. What this does is it goes to the table view and it tries to find a cell at the index path that's been provided to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cast this across to a table view cell. I'm going to use an optional here, so what I will do is I'll then put another check in place for this. And that will be that if the cell is equal to nil, then I'm going to create it. Now I haven't put this method in place inside of my table view class yet, so I'm going to go to my class and I'm going to put in an init, and it's going to be with style reuse identifier. This needs to override its parent cell, and then I'm going to call the super. When I do this, as you can see, I'm required to put another initializer in, so I'm going to do that as well. And then I'll put the super method in here. So let's go back to our table view controller. Now I'm going to put cell equal table view cell, and then I'm going to create a cell with the table view style default and the reuse identifier of the reuse identifier string above. You'll notice that I'm creating this reuse identifier. In order for us to be able to compile this and run it without an error, we also need to tell the cell within our storyboard to use this identifier. So I'm going to just quickly copy this. Then I'm going to go into storyboard, select my cell, and then over here in the attributes inspector, I'm going to put this identifier in. Excellent. Okay, so let's go back to our table view controller again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dream, and then I'm going to put the text in my label to the dream name. So the way that I find my dream is by taking my data source, which is my dreams array, and by getting the dream at indexPath.row. I can then put my cell.dreamLabel.text is equal to dream.name. I also want to set my image. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did before when I was storing my image. I'm going to look for it. So I'm going to find the paths by going to ns search path for directories and domains within the document directory, looking at the user domain mask and setting it to true. I'll find the first path within that, and then I'll append the dream image URL. I'll create a new URL with this, and then I'll do some binding. So I'll do if let data is equal to nsdata, contents of URL, and let image is equal to UI image with the data. Then I'm going to set my cell.dreamImageView.image as the image. One last thing we want to do is to set the height for our cell. So we'll use TableView height for row at index path. This allows us to change the height as they're displayed. Since the cells are all going to be the same height, I'm going to set this as one value, which is going to be 300. And there we have it. We have everything that we need in order to display our cells the way we want them to run. In the next video, we'll begin to work with table view interactions.